أهلا بكم في قناة الأحياء للصف الثالث ثانوي. In today's lecture, we'll continue our talk about the endocrine system and hormones. So let's begin. Last two lectures, we talked about the pituitary gland and the thyroid gland and the parathyroids. Today, pardon, we will talk about the suprarenal or the adrenal glands. We have two suprarenal glands or adrenal glands, one on each kidney, the right suprarenal gland and the left suprarenal gland. And each gland consists anatomically and physiologically of two regions. It has the cortex and the medulla. This is histology slide. This is the cortex of the suprarenal gland. All this, see? And this is the medulla of the suprarenal gland or the adrenal gland. Even the cortex is divided into zones, for each zone is responsible for secretion of type of hormones. Okay? And the cortex, by the way, is essential to life. It controls many things in the body. Hormones of the cortex secrete many hormones as group of steroids, which can be classified into three groups of hormones: glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, and sex hormones. Now, glucocorticoids include the cortisone and corticosterone. Okay? It's secreted from the superficial lobe of the superficial zone of the cortex of the adrenal gland. The main function is to regulate carbohydrate metabolism, okay, in the body. It increases blood sugar. Now pay attention for hormones that affect the blood sugar in the body. When we complete our study of the endocrine glands, we will know which endocrine glands control the blood sugar. The glucocorticoids, the cortisone and corticosterone, increases blood sugar because they decrease the glucose uptake by the tissues. بيقللوا ان التيشوز تاخد الجلوكوز فيفضل الجلوكوز في الدم فيزيد مستواه, and also increase hepatic glucose production, وكمان بتخلي الكبد يعمل جلوكوز. فازاي الجلوكوكورتيكويدز بتزود الجلوكوز؟ انها بتقلل الابتيك بتاعه وكمان بتزود انتاجه من الكبد. That's why it increases the blood sugar. Okay? Mineralocorticoids, on the other hand, secreted from the middle zone of the suprarenal cortex. It plays important role in balance of minerals in the body, electrolytes of the body. Okay? The aldosterone is the major hormone here, and it increases reabsorption of sodium. Reabsorption means إعادة الامتصاص. يعني بدل ما كان المادة دي امتصت علشان تفرز بعد كده في البول، لا، الكدني تعيد امتصاصها عشان ترجعها للدم تاني. فري absorption معناها الرجوع للدم تاني. فit increases reabsorption of sodium، يبقى بتزود الصوديوم في الدم. وكمان increases the excretion of excess potassium. فعشان كده قصاد انها بترجع الصوديوم بتفرز بداله بوتاسيوم في البول، بتزود الاكسكريشن اوف البوتاسيوم الزايد في البول، فما في بينهم نسبة وتناسب. So this is the function of the aldosterone, which is a mineralocorticoid. Other group of hormones is called the sex hormones. Sex hormones, although the main source, of course, the ovaries in females and the testicles in males, but also in the adrenal cortex, in the deep zone of the adrenal cortex, secretes testosterone, which is the male sex hormone, and estrogen and progesterone, which are female sex hormones. Okay? Okay, so tumors or any condition that leads to the abnormal secretion of the adrenal cortex results in the increased level of sex hormones above normal. It leads to masculinization in female, masculinization means ان في علامات الذكورة تبدأ تظهر على الإناث، والعكس صحيح على الذكور، علامات الأنوثة تظهر عليهم أكتر. And feminization in male and atrophy of the gonads in both sexes. Okay, so we have sex hormones, mineralocorticoids, and glucocorticoids, which are the main secretions from the suprarenal cortex or the adrenal gland. Okay, hormones of the medulla. Now this is the medulla of the suprarenal gland or the adrenal gland. Secretes two hormones, the adrenaline and noradrenaline. Okay, adrenaline and noradrenaline. It controls vital activities in the body, and especially in emergency situations like fight or flight, fear or fight. Okay, and excitation and during muscular exercise. This is where the adrenaline and noradrenaline exerts its function. Also, these two hormones increase the sugar level in the blood. So this is another hormone that increases blood sugar, like cortisones. Okay, but how? It increases it by increasing breakdown of glycogen stores in the liver into glucose. هنا الكبد، الادرينالين بيخلي الكبد يكسر مخازن الجلايكوجين بتاعته، والجلايكوجين ده نشا لما تكسره هيديك جلوكوز. يبقى it increases glycogen breakdown of glycogen stores of the liver into glucose, and increase the speed and force of contraction of the heart علشان يضخ دم اكتر في حالات الامرجنسي، الطوارئ، زي الفايت او الفلايت، زي انا قاعد بدافع عن نفسي او قاعد بهرب من حاجه. Okay, and increases also blood pressure. It increases blood pressure. All these changes leads to meet the muscle demands of energy needed for contraction and increase in the rate of the oxygen consumption. كل ده علشان نقدر نلاحق على مجهود المتوقع من المسلز، من العضلات، وكمان مع استهلاك الاكسجين اللي احنا استهلكناه في الحالات دي في الامرجنسي ستاتس، زي الفايت or flight, fear and fight. Okay, another gland is the pancreas. It's a mixed gland. We said that glands divided into endocrine, exocrine, and mixed glands. This is one of the mixed glands. The exocrine secretion, it has exocrine secretion and endocrine secretion. The exocrine secretion is in the form of the pancreatic juice, okay, secreted from the pancreatic acini through pancreatic duct, and it's secreted into the duodenum. Okay, and the endocrine function is in the form of secretion of insulin and glucagon from the islets of Langerhans. These islets of Langerhans are cells present among the cells of the pancreas, and they are divided in the books. In your book, it's divided into two types, alpha and beta types, but there's also a delta type, if you know about. Alpha cells of islets of Langerhans secrete glucagon. Beta cells of islets of Langerhans secrete a hormone called insulin, and both oppose each other. Okay, insulin opposes glucagon. Okay, they regulate the blood glucose level and maintain it, between 80 and 120 milligram per 100 cubic centimeters of blood. And the function of the insulin hormone decreases the glucose level in the blood by what? By stimulation utilization of glucose by the cells. هو ده زي الشاتل او الباص اللي هياخد الانسولين من بره السيل هيدخلها لجوه السيل. الانسولين هو المركبة اللي عليه بيركب الجلوكوز علشان يقدر يدخل جوه السيلز. من غير الانسولين الجلوكوز مش هيدخل جوه السيلز. فهمتوا الفانكشن of insulin؟ Okay, so it stimulates utilization of glucose by the cells and different body tissues. Okay, and this is important for the transport of the monosaccharides except fructose across the cell membrane to inside to be utilized. Also, it controls the relation between stored glycogen and blood glucose. Stored glycogen, when you break down glycogen, it produces glucose. Okay? It stimulates the conversion of glucose to glycogen. So, stimulation of storage, not the breakdown, like adrenaline, for example. No, this stimulates the storage, conversion of glucose into starch, into glycogen. بيحول الجلوكوز لنشا عشان يتخزن بعد كده في الكبد وعضلات البادي كله. Okay? Okay. Now, decrease in the secretion of insulin leads to diabetes mellitus. This is well known. ده السكر اللي عندهم سكر. It's characterized by the disturbance in the metabolism of carbohydrates. الجسم ما بيقدرش يستفيد من الجلوكوز اللي عايم في الدم علشان ما فيش انسولين. فالحل ان الواحد ياخد انسولين. Okay? The patient with diabetes mellitus complains of increased glucose levels in the blood associated with abnormal appearance and excretion of glucose in urine. بسبب انه زايد جدا في الدم فبيزيد افراز او التخلص من الجلوكوز الزايد في البول. Okay, with the excretion of large volume of water, which explains the symptoms of continuous thirst sensation and excessive micturition. اللي عنده سكر ده بيروح على الحمام كتير لانه عايز يتبول كتير لان عنده افراز الميه كتير. اوكي؟ وعنده الاحساس بالعطش كتير عشان كده عايز يفضل دايما يشرب ميه. The glucagon hormone, okay, antagonizes the action of insulin, where it increases the glucose level in the blood through the conversion of glycogen to glucose. ده عكس الاكشن بتاع الانسولين اللي بيخلي فيه break down of glycogen اللي موجود في الليفر وفي المسلز علشان يتحول ل glucose. Okay? Okay. So we have the alpha cells and beta cells. The alpha cells secrete glucagon. The beta cells secrete insulin. And do not forget diabetes mellitus. Okay, the sex glands. Sex glands produce and secrete group of sex hormones responsible for the growth of genital organs and the appearance of secondary sexual characters. هي اللي بتدي صفات الذكورة وصفات الأنوثة. The male sex hormones called androgens, اسمهم androgens, secreted by cells موجودة في التستس اسمها interstitial cells of Leydig. واحد اسمه Leydig. Interstitial cells. Male sex hormones هم التستوستيرون and androsterone. والهرمونات دي responsible for the growth of the prostate gland, the seminal vesicles, and the appearance of the male secondary sexual characters. هم اللي مسؤولين عن البلوغ يعني. Okay? اللي موجودين في التستيكلز. Okay. Female sex hormones, they are called the estrogens. Okay? في الاستروجين هرمون او الاستراديول secreted by the Graafian follicle of the ovary. فاكرين اللي كان بيعملوا ال FSH وال LH؟ Okay? الاستروجين secreted from the Graafian follicle. And it helps in the appearance of female secondary sexual characters and increased size of breasts and regulation of menses or the menstrual cycle each month. Okay, where there's shedding of the lining of the uterus. Okay, with the non-fertilized ova, of course. Progesterone hormone secreted from the corpus luteum. Remember, responsible for formation of corpus luteum, the luteinizing hormone from the pituitary gland. Okay, it's secretes progesterone and also from the placenta. It is important during pregnancy, regulates vascularity of the uterine wall. ده اللي بيخلي الفاسكولاريتي في اليوتراين وول تزداد جدا، الاوعيه الدمويه تزداد جدا عشان تغذي البلاسينتا، عشان تغذي البيبي اللي قاعد بينمو جوه الرحم. Okay, and also progesterone responsible for the changes taking place in mammary glands during pregnancy. مسؤول عن التغيرات اللي بتحصل في الأثداء في الغدد الثديية خلال فترة الحمل. في هرمون تاني اسمه ريلاكسين هرمون، ده secreted من البلاسينتا and uterus. ده مسؤول عن انه relaxes السيمفيسيس بيوبس، يخلي الأربطة بتاعة العظم بتاع الحوض يخليها resilient شوية، ما تبقاش مشدودة قوي، علشان ده يساعد في عملية الولادة، انه الحوض يبقى فيه شوية حركة علشان حجم البيبي اللي نازل. Okay, so it causes relaxation of symphysis pubis at the end of pregnancy to facilitate the process of delivery. Now, the last hormones we're going to talk about are the gastrointestinal hormones. Okay, this is other than the exocrine function of the mucous membrane lining the alimentary canal. It has an endocrine function, the mucous membrane. It secretes group of hormones which regulate and stimulate parts of the alimentary canal or the digestive tract. Examples are the gastrin hormone. Gastrin hormone secreted from the stomach wall. Remember, gastrin from gaster. Gaster معناها stomach. Gastrin hormone secreted from the stomach wall, transferred through the blood to activate the stomach again to secrete gastric juice. يعني كأن الستومك قاعدة بتنشط نفسها، بتطلع هرمون لما بيوصل أكل، بتطلع هرمون اسمه الجاسترين ده بيمشي في البلد ويأثر على المعدة، يخليها تزود إفراز الجاستريك جوس. برضو في هرمونين تانيين اسمهم secretin and cholecystokinin. cholecystokinin ده اللي بيأثر على المرارة، الحوصلة المرارية. كاينين اللي بيخليها تنقبض، يعني ده اللي بيخلي المرارة تنقبض وتطلع العصارة اللي فيها. Okay, secretin and cholecystokinin secreted from the intestinal wall. خدوا بالكوا فوق كان الجاسترين كان من الستومك، ده من الintestinal wall من الأمعاء. Transferred through the blood to the pancreas to stimulate a secretion of the pancreatic juice. يبقى secretin and cholecystokinin دول المسؤولين عن secretion of pancreatic juice، انهم stimulate the pancreas to secrete pancreatic juice، وكمان المرارة انها تطلع البايل اللي فيها to excrete its bile. Okay, this concludes about these our talk about these glands. I hope you got the maximum benefit from this lecture, and thank you very much for watching.